Cardfight Vanguard is a popular card game licensed under the company Bushiroad that began in 2011. Of course, you would already know that since you're watching this channel, but apparently I don't know how to begin a video. Anyway, this will be a look back in the year of 2012, and I guess the VGCaster and my own thoughts on how the year went in terms of the game's meta, the cards that came out, and all the other interesting things that happened this year. So I just hope you enjoy, and I hope you'll keep following us for the year coming. Awakening of the Twin Swords was set 5 in the entire series of Vanguard. Now this set had a big effect on the meta, and in my opinion really founded the basis of what competitive Vanguard is over the years. Two of the decks that did come out during this set dominated the format heavily.
Personally, set 5 is essentially a money set, really, because when you think about it, like, Overlord DN was in high demand because the deck was very popular, because the Overlord DN itself is a very powerful card, very simplistic to use. Then we have Phantom Blast Overlord, which is another expensive card from the set, which gives Shadow Paladin a very defensive option and as well as an offensive option.
So it came out with the Phantom Blaster Overlord, which people would argue to be the most useless of all the cross rides, since its ability is difficult to use and very counterblast heavy. And yeah, it's a personal blast as well. Costs 3 personal blasts. Really cost heavy, and sometimes a lot of people would say that you would probably do better with just put one down as a rear guard than as a personal blasting. But I believe actually it's a situational thing, so I do get to use the personal blast a few times and it actually gets to pay it off. So it's definitely has its use, but yeah, not as easy to use as Dote or Majesty.
A little out of left field come Bermuda Triangles, with their own extra booster 2. This set was a little bit weird for me. It was one of those sets that a lot of people were anticipating, but strangely enough, once it did come out, it didn't appear that these ladies were given the attention that they were expected to be given. Their effects were really kind of bland, I guess, and they really didn't have a big impact on the meta at all. But it's always nice to see a new clan being introduced, and this did show us the first instance of one booster pack being completely dominated by a single clan.
Thoughts on Bermudas? Not exactly what I expected them to be, but you know, the cards are still nice and pretty. Well, Bermudas, while they did come out and everything, expected a bit more, I don't know, more power, more something about them that while we're getting pluses and bouncing stuff on the field, which is kind of fun, I guess, but you're getting all these pluses and then you got nothing to do with these pluses. You got like cards in hand, you got a field, but your field's not doing much other than bouncing more cards to get more cards from deck. So I don't know, they were a bit of a disappointment overall, but the cards themselves were really good. So even just art-wise, I'm pretty happy with them, I guess. Yeah.
My personal favorite is the Pacifica build. I don't know, the ride chain wasn't that great. I didn't think so. Then again, I don't really like ride chains that much, even though I do run one. The cards as well, you know, just, you know, the card art in general. I mean, who doesn't like card art with women on them?
Set 6 introduced us to the concept of limit breaking. So breaker of limits, this set really drove the point home that the meta was changing a lot. Limit breaking was, after this set, very I guess heavily advertised, given that there aren't many units that didn't have them after this set came out. And we saw that Royal Paladins and Kagurus, and I guess Shadow Paladins to an extent as well, were kind of being replaced by these two new clans, Gold Paladins and Narukami. Gold Paladins and Narukami ended up having a great effect on the meta, especially in English, considering they got these cards before the End and Majesty Lord Blaster even appeared. I thought that this was a really interesting way of making two different games different, intentional or not. But there's no doubt that Gold Paladins are in fact a force to be reckoned with after this set was released.
The limit break mechanic in general was pretty fun, like making it only take 4 damage to get things done. It did slow down a lot of plays, which kind of killed a lot of things I like doing, because I always like applying early pressure through one-hit effects in the Vanguard, but if your ability has a limit break, it doesn't matter when it counts, because it's going to count at 4 damage anyway, which is when you're going to be at 4 damage.
Set 6 is when I started playing Vanguard, so yeah, because it's Gold Paladin, that's the first one the clan I ever picked up. For me, Gold Paladin in Set 6, that's like the foundation for it. I was more focused on the TD, which is Garmor, got the Garmor build instead of the Easel. Even though the Easel Superior Ride is actually very stable in a way, I much more prefer Garmor over it. Just more variety or more option for either.
Ever since the introduction of Limit Break from the new trial deck for starter, the Neurokhami and Gold Paladin, then we have set 6, it basically gives people more options at 4 damage. So basically, it just gives people a chance to recover when they get rushed from an opponent. Like, it's a perfect example of this is Vermilion Kaiser. If an opponent rushed you early game for 4 damage, before you reach grade 3, you run Vermilion, you use this Limit Break ability, you hit the entire board, you're literally setting them back as well.
Extra Booster 3 brought out the first support for limit breaking for the 3 clans that were thought to be sealed away, at least according to the plot of the anime. This was a little bit weird in the fact that a lot of people were expecting these 3 clans to get a lot more than they did. They only got 2 cards each, 1 10k vanilla each, and 1 new limit breaker each. However, the options that other clans like Mega Colony and Spike Brothers, and even Gold Paladins, which at this point appeared to be getting a bit spoilt by the makers of the game, they brought out a lot of good support for these units as well.
Extra Booster 3, wow, great set, amazing set for 1 card, which everyone hates apparently, but you know, I've already raged on about it now. Obviously Pendragon, highlight of like just the entire game for me. Like, the card just deck things, the card just, I don't know, it just allows like a certain amount of toolbox to be added for Royal Paladins. Like, I don't know, it just fueled the Pegasus and Baron plays, it fueled the Soul plays, and not only that, but it just gave that little bit of extra pressure, like when, like for the limit break. But because people didn't see it as much of a threat, they'd get used to that 4 damage without hesitance, which just made your plays explode out of nowhere. And not just that, but because it frees up your counterblast, it doesn't need any counterblast, it just allows you so much more plays. So like you could play those blast blades, you could even tech in that alpha, you could even go into a GAN slot for heck's sake and like just explode. And then like you still got all that soul left over for Soul Saver. So it's just like play after play after play. So it's just like multiple explosions just happening.
With Duke, they just given another different views for Gold Paladins. Instead of focusing on calling different members and wielding the power of it, this one you do same as Shadows, where you just sacrifice 3 units and like sacrifice the game benefits. That's how it is.
Set 7 introduced, or reintroduced rather, the idea of having great natures as a fully fledged clan. They were one clan that was released all the way back in Booster 2 that haven't seen any new cards being created for them, but after this set we saw them as a fully fledged clan with their own unique theme and strategy.
Great nature, all of their main things are based on limit breaks, which really slows the deck down, like especially Leopold, who actually hates heal triggers if he's on 4 damage, just because he loses his units when he does it. It's like, that's fun, we like losing things because we broke the heal. The heal was nice.
Hell Moons came out in set 7, like more of it, not the initial batch, which had a really big change on my whole deck and everything. So from the original Robert Alice switchy type, I now have, I guess, Asara and Alice with Midnight Invaders and stuff. So it has more power and it also has more pressure.
Dark Regular's got a huge boost in set 7. As for changing the way the meta of Dark Regulars, it actually changed it a fair bit. Because before we were stuck with basically an Armon slash Still Vampire build, and now we just have so many more, because we have Mad Eye Basilisk, which is an excellent supporter, and we had Dark Lord, and even the Witching Hour cards, which is awesome. The bike. I can't say enough about the bike.
Set 8 is arguably one of the most interesting sets that had been released this year. It brought out the new clan Aquaforce, which focused on having abilities depending on the amount of battles that were going on during the battle phase, as well as having abilities that help them achieve these battle goals. As well as that other clans like Tachikaze, Neo Nectar, and Dimensional Police were getting a lot of unique stuff, and stuff that we had really never seen before.
Set 8, it was actually pretty interesting. Set 8 was, from what I remember from all the other sets before Set 8, Set 8 was one of the ones that actually introduced the most unique sort of new gameplay compared to all the others. I mean, with the, with the negating of power and with the clone pumping and all the, just the massive sacrifices that the cards have come out with. So, all in all, in fact, I think it's the most innovative of all the sets to have come out since the beginning. I, of course, have my own personal reasons why I love Set 8. I mean, touchy. And, you know, everybody else, it's just been crazy. It's just been crazy since Set 8 came out. Getting a lot more interesting decks to play against, and a lot more interesting decks to play as well.
Something new for me, I guess. I decided to try out Aquaforce, as you might have known from the videos. Aquaforce was quite interesting with the whole multiple attacks and different aspects of gaining abilities on certain attacks. Gave the game quite a bit of a, I don't know, a new fresh clan to play with. Unfortunately, I've decided to drop that, but it's nothing to do with the actual clan itself, more to do with funds and stuff. But with the clan itself, it's actually really interesting with what they're trying to bring out to the game. Maelstrom had, you know, on 4th attack, and you got all these other ones here on 3rd attack. But you also have abilities that that help the clan achieve those goals. The clan's actually quite interested in its whole low power attacks, but multiple attacks until you get the right numbers. Then it gets too powerful. It's kind of hard to explain. So you get 10k attack, then you get another 10k attack, and you get like 11k attack, and then suddenly wham, 26k attack. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
In my infinite wisdom, I forgot to ask somebody to talk about Extra Booster 4 and 5, so I guess I'll do that now. Extra Booster 4 and 5 reintroduced, or rather just brought more support in for the clans Oracle Think Tank and Nova Grappler. This I really liked, the idea of having a pack fully focused on reprinting cards, because it really gives a greater accessibility to those cards. Prior to these two sets coming out, if people want to build Nova Grapplers or Oracles, they would have to dig back through the 1st and 2nd sets just to get some of the staples like the Null Guards or units like Amaterasu. A lot of crucial units were reprinted in the packs, but as well as that, both packs came out with their own unique theme for each clan. This idea of having single clan extra boosters, in my opinion, is a really great idea. Bermuda started it, and Bermudas are bringing it in again in 2013. And I really hope to see more of this going on as the years go by, I guess. And the big one finally came. Set 9 arrived, bringing out much cross-ride and other big support for the clans. I have a lot to say about this myself, but I'm going to let the VGCasters handle this one.
Once Set 9 came out, it was just... Well, once information for Set 9 came out, with Metatron, it brought out the full potential of Angel Feathers and how they can actually use the damage zone as an extra hand.
Chrome and Platinum. There's like all the different metals and everything now. So I will talk about Chrome. It's so OP. It's like, bro.
You don't joke!
Okay, I won't joke. Okay, Chrome is good. It's very balanced. Some of you may laugh at me and saying, oh, it's not balanced. It's balanced because the base attack is 10k. And then, regardless how much it gets on its turn, when another opponent, all he gonna see is a 10k vanilla. So, and there is no actual support for it, for the Gold Paladin. With the easel chain, the easel line, there's many support for easel, where you search for it. Like the easel new starter, searching top 5 for easel. The bunny ride chain, bunny engine, yeah, just search each other out, like because it keeps on taking. The Dark Horse, which is the Duke, is a consistent ride chain.
Although Murakami were playable, they were a fairly underpowered clan, and their gimmick only seemed to be one-dimensional. Now, with the introduction of all the cards from set 9, it's multi-dimensional.
And then along comes set 9, where you get ultimate breaks, which are even slower. And let's tack them on at Crossrides, we'll have the slowest deck known to man. Don't like limit break, you can probably tell.
Personally, I find set 9 to be, well, it would change the game in a sense that you'll see, I'm hoping that you'll see a lot more diversity in the decks building for starter, as you see the emergence of Murakami again as a meta deck. At the same time, you see Force getting a boost, Gold Paladin getting a boost, Murakami getting a nice little support, and also Angel Feather, which you might be seeing more popularity now since they have a superior ride, which a lot of people just like give them more option now.
Shocking news was that after set 9, restrictions were put into place in Vanguard finally. We had seen the Bako restriction the year before, but at the end of this year we have seen major restrictions to the Royal Paladins, the Kagero, and the Oracle Think Tank decks of Majesty Lord Blaster, The End, and Tsukiyomi.
Honestly, when I see the restriction list, I personally say it's fair to most degree. The only part of the restriction list I reckon that was a bit silly or a bit harsh was on Tsukiyomi. Because when you think about it, Tsukiyomi is operating a similar mechanic as Chain Ride. But the thing is, restricting her down to 1 copy per deck, it's very awkward for the player itself. Because if your Tsukiyomi level 3 is on your first stack, on your middle stack, or one of your stacks, it's really awkward to get it again. But batting, like restricting Doe to 2, or either you play Conroe or 2 Doe is actually very fair. Because Conroe in itself is a very powerful card because it allows you to search for essentially any level 1 you want from your deck or level 0. So basically it sets up a lot of combo pieces off. But the thing is, Doe is fair because its ability is very strong. And it's a very stable card, and quite frankly the list is just there to basically saying that try new decks. That's what Bushiroad essentially is trying to say to new people, the whole community. Just they want to see more diversity in the meta because they're getting sick and tired of seeing every tournament having just been dominated by, like, you see a pile of DM deck, a pile of MLB deck, and a pile of Gold Paladin essentially. But Gold Paladin is not being touched yet for one reason, because it's a new set and Bushiroad doesn't want to restrict it so fast. Doesn't want to restrict it yet because they want to get new player in the game, and hitting a recently released clan is not a good idea for the market.
I guess it didn't really affect my deck at all at the time being. Like, I didn't have my deck was practically at the limits. Like, so I had one of each of the Winglebrave and MLD, so I didn't have to change my deck at all. But it probably will affect how I choose to build my decks now, which is quite annoying. It just restricts what I can tech in and how toolboxy I can create my decks. Not to mention, like, the restrictions it creates of what type of decks I can build. So obviously you can't build like a complete pure MLB focus, like, because the chance, like, the one MLB could go to damage, or it's like you won't be able to search it out, which will just create a complete, like, different flow towards the game. So, not to mention how much, like, they just completely destroyed the Tsukiyomi deck, which everyone was raging about. I know, like, people are trying to work around it, and it's great and all, but, like, it was just such a massive hit that, like, it's just changed. Like, it's just restricted to, like, what access Oracle think tanks have.
Thanks very much for watching our little Christmas New Year special. I guess from the VGCasters, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We're all going to be busy for a while, so you might not see a video with us all together for a while. But rest assured, we have a lot of big things planned next year. I think I'll just end this video by saying what we're all looking forward to in the coming year for Vanguard. Personally, I would like to see a lot more of the undersupported clans get their support that they deserve.
What I would like to see personally, okay, I want to see the Angel Feathers get what the Dark Irregulars get in the manga. The card where, when it comes down to play, you may choose a card from your drop zone and swap it with the card in your damage zone. So essentially you're taking cards that you used to guard with or whatever and putting them back into your damage zone so you can take them back out.
In 2013, definitely more Shadow Paladin, as because I'm a Shadow Paladin player, and support for non-main clans, obviously, because I'm also the Dark Irregular player, so, and it's the first clan I ever get into the game, so I would like to see more of Dark Irregulars.
Personally, I want to see the bushiroad explore all the other clans, not just the main three anymore, because as you can see, they're starting to move to other clans as well. But I want to see support for like Med Colony, the same support that Murakumo had, which basically gave all your triggers are here. Have fun, kids.
I'd actually like to see them play with Bind Zone a lot more. It was, you know, something that was introduced in set 5. Didn't really see much use until set 8 again, but then again, with set 8 it was basically like one card. So, I don't know, maybe affects that sort of send cards from deck, like top cards from deck to Bind Zone in order to give pumps or other effects. You know, it could be an idea. In a way, it sort of like helps deck thin at the same time, you know, it, I don't know, it was just a really good idea when I like started thinking about it.
Well, Amcam did mention about Bind Zone. I would like to see how they would use that Bind Zone with the other cards, along with the new break rides. It would be interesting to see how they would incorporate that with all these other effects such as Persona Blast and, you know, limit breaks and such. Yeah, I'm probably a bit biased, but I'm really looking forward to EV6 with Bermudas and how they're going to try and do the new Pacifica card in there. Everyone's saying it's a cross ride, could be a cross ride, probably more of a break ride, we don't know. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to, I guess, more pretty cards.
I want to see less limit breaks. I want to see more decks doing things in obscure ways, like static abilities. Like, we haven't actually seen very many Vanguards with just abilities that just happen statically, like Blockade in set 2. How many other things can we even think of that have abilities like Blockade that are just in effect permanently? Off the top of my head, I can't actually think of any besides Sephiroth. That only applies during your turn. And it's a limit break, so it doesn't work in the early game anyway. So that kind of ability could really change the game. Problem is, the only ability they've put onto it has been Blockade. Who, while really cool, stop doing that! While Blockade's really cool, and it's the Kagura deck I played during set 2, he sort of has fallen behind only being 10k with their power boost. If he had just like a plus 2k on attacking, he'd be brilliant, but no, he doesn't get that.
What I'd like to see from Vanguard 2013, well, obviously Royals returning, that's a very good thing. Well, at least for me. Probably less of Amcam, like, you know, he's just such a big, tired dick. No, I don't know. I don't think I want to see any more new clans. I'm pretty sure we're happy with where we're at. The game's actually taking a good direction. Like, obviously, with these same decks are obviously popping up. It means like they are going in the right direction. Like with how consistent decks are becoming now, and like they're able to get over the luck factor, which is really good. So hopefully Bushiroad keeps that up.
Zone booster pack. A full box of just Dark Zone. You want me to say boobies, but I'm not going to say that.
I really want Gold Paladin to get downgraded.
As a Gold Paladin player, you're saying that?
Yes. I don't want it like to be mainstream. I want Royal to probably get back to the throne. And yeah, Gold Paladin just should get better grade 2s. And that is all.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't seen our last episode of the VG Circle already, why don't you click that link on the left right there. And as I said, I'm not going to disappear like nothing, so I did prepare a little something while I'm doing nothing at home and the VGCasters can't meet up. For that, just click on the right.